Good evening, trustees, superintendent, staff, public. Today is Thursday, April 11th, 2024. We welcome you, and as a courtesy to others, we ask that you silence your cell phones during the meeting. The meeting is recorded. Your cooperation is appreciated. I will call this meeting to order. It is 6 o'clock. We'll move on to roll call. Ms. Cooper.
Liker,
Here.
Lopez Aguino,
Here.
Quinones.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now we'll turn to our very important people here tonight who are going to help us say the Pledge of Allegiance. So I'd like to welcome Bayside STEAM Academy and BIP Village Preschool students, Madison Harris and Revel Kinley, who will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance this evening. Thank you for coming.
Please stand. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. At this time, a couple of our trustees will go over and join you and give you a couple of certificates, and then you go to your bulletin board and we'll take some pictures with principals and parents. We'll just take a minute or two to do that. Thank you. Thank you so much again for coming and doing our Pledge of Allegiance. It's always a pleasure to have our students here and joining our work. Thank you, Superintendent. We're moving on to school reports. First up is Bayside STEAM Academy. I'd like to recognize Principal Griffin, who is going to give us a presentation this evening on Bayside STEAM Academy. Welcome.
Ready to go? Hi. Good evening, President Quinones, trustees, Superintendent Espinosa, Executive Cabinet. This evening, it is my pleasure to briefly share about all the wonderful work occurring at Bayside STEAM Academy, as well as some of our plans for the future. As you know, Bayside is a small school with arguably the best location in our entire district, although I may be a little bit biased. Located along the Bayshore Bikeway, our students experience nature firsthand. Right now, our students are being treated to the beautiful blooming native flowers and vegetation, as well as the sounds of migratory birds right outside of our gates. Many of our teachers incorporate these elements into their lessons regularly. Furthermore, some of our teachers even take advantage of the proximity to the nearby wildlife refuge to take our classes on walking field trips to explore earth and life science concepts firsthand. Our school's motto is play with purpose, learn by doing, and our committed team of educators works hard to make that a reality each and every day. A little bit more about our school. We have a diverse student population at Bayside. Currently, we have 378 students enrolled. Approximately 40% of our students are multilingual learners, and almost 3/4 of our students are classified as socioeconomically disadvantaged. Needless to say, our students face many challenges. We're working hard to support our students in meeting those challenges by meeting them where they're at and providing them with high quality, differentiated instruction, as well as the social, emotional, and other supports they need to successfully reach their fullest potential. And this mic is super hot. A little bit of a brief introduction to our data. We've shown growth in our CASP data over the past few years. That being said, our data shows there is still room for growth in academics, with just more than 29% of our students meeting or exceeding standard in ELA and 25.8% of our students meeting standards in math. That's not to say there aren't bright spots, however. In particular, our English language learners showed a 13.4% increase over the year before in their performance in English language arts. That is something we are particularly proud of. Another area of focus that we have, an area of concern, is chronic absenteeism. As you know, chronic absenteeism is a concern district-wide. Last year, our rate of chronic absenteeism was 30.2%. That's about 1 in every 3 of our students was listed as chronically absent. So how are we as a school addressing these concerns? And I'll come back to the chronic absenteeism. Our first goal focuses on academic excellence, particularly in the areas of literacy, math, and English language development. It states, for the 2023-24 school year, Bayside is committed to improving classroom instruction in literacy, math, and English language development. Our goal is to strengthen all students' ability to decode, read fluently, and comprehend grade-level text, to increase our students' proficiency in math, and to accelerate our English learners' acquisition of the English language. To address these areas, we've put a significant focus on small group guided reading and math instruction to meet the needs of our students. In addition to our learning acceleration tutor, we also employ a part-time impact teacher focused on additional literacy supports for students using the LLI program. And we are also focusing on improving student engagement. As I mentioned before, our school motto is play with purpose, learn by doing. By ensuring our students are actively engaged and participating in lessons, they enjoy what they're learning and feel a sense of ownership and accomplishment, leading to better academic performance and a feeling of pride in their work. While our English language learners have shown positive momentum, they remain a significant area of focus given the needs of our population. We provide numerous supports to our multilingual students, including both designated and integrated ELD. We also employ an English language liaison to provide support to our newcomer students and their families. Furthermore, we have a wonderful parent-family liaison, Miss Denise, and believe me, she is absolutely incredible at her work. who is doing amazing work connecting with all of our families, but in particular, our multilingual families. She works to help connect them with our school and to make sure they are aware of campus supports and activities, as well as providing access to other resources they may need. And I can't say it enough, what a positive impact she has had on our entire school community. Our next goal focuses on advancing equity and inclusion. We are working hard to ensure that students have a voice and are empowered to make a difference, not just at school, but in the community as well. And this work truly is embedded throughout everything that we do. This goal states that Bayside is committed to providing an inclusive and equitable school environment where student voice is amplified and all barriers preventing students from fulfilling their potential are removed. To ensure our families are heard, we have many opportunities for family and community engagement. Each month, we hold a coffee with the principal where we meet in a circle and have a discussion. I begin by presenting information on upcoming events and activities, and then we generally hold a brief program where guests present on topics of interest to our families. We've had a variety of sessions, including one from our counselor, one from our social worker, the kitchenistas. They were also amazing because they fed us, and you'll never hear anybody complain when they're fed. And our local Kiwanis Club. These guests have presented on such topics as school readiness, improving student literacy, student and family mental health support, and healthy eating. At the end of each meeting, we open the meeting for questions and comments, and it is truly a place where our families can connect and be heard. In addition to that, we have a new but wonderful PTA that has worked very hard to connect with our families by planning and organizing several events that have been extremely well attended, including our Fall Festival and a Meet the Grinch activity. We are extremely excited to see what other amazing ideas they have as we continue to work to improve opportunities to involve our families and the community. Our third goal is focused on providing nurturing, safe, and welcoming learning environments. It states that Bayside will provide a safe, nurturing, and welcoming learning environment for all students. Bayside is committed to providing a positive school learning environment for all students by teaching the Sanford Harmony SEL curriculum daily to reduce student conflicts and increase student engagement. Additionally, Bayside will increase our average daily attendance and reduce chronic absenteeism. Our students start the day with a morning meeting using the Sanford Harmony SEL curriculum. In addition, our counselor, Ms. Julie Barnes-Weiss, works incredibly hard visiting classrooms to teach lessons on self-regulation, working together, embracing differences, anti-bullying, and many other topics as needed. She also provides more focused support to our students through small group and individual check-ins. I do not know what we would do without her wonderful work. Yet another amazing member of our Bayside community. As I said before, an area of focus for our school is chronic absenteeism. To improve our overall attendance, along with reducing our chronic absenteeism, we are part of the Improving Chronic Absenteeism Network with San Diego County Office of Education. As I mentioned before, last year our chronic absenteeism was over 30%. However, at this point last year, year to date, we were at 36%. This year, through our work, and despite some challenging weather and community events we've had this school year, we are making significant progress improving our attendance. We've seen an 8% reduction in chronic absenteeism, and if our numbers continue their downward trend, as they have since winter break, we are on pace to reduce that number to below 25% and possibly lower. We're continuing the work. We're not slowing down. As part of this work, we've developed targeted spirit days and activities on traditionally high absence days, as well as regular incentives for the entire school. One such activity is our monthly calendar competition. Each student is given a calendar to chart their own attendance and therefore take responsibility for themselves. At the end of the month, any student that has been present the entire month turns their calendar in and is eligible to participate in a fun activity, such as a games day or a popsicle event, as you can see up here. We're incredibly proud to say that this work is making a difference. We are proud of the work we've accomplished this year at Bayside and are continuing to accomplish, but we know there is still much to do. Right now, our leadership team, affectionately known as BLT, is planning for next year. Some of the works in progress include continuing to focus on improving instruction and outcomes in literacy and mathematics, continuing our focus on multilingual learners, refocusing our work on improving our school climate through work with restorative practices and PBIS, and a revitalized STEAM focus through site-wide thematic project-based learning and, hopefully, partnerships with local universities and organizations. We are extremely excited for what the future holds for Bayside STEAM Academy. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yay, everybody. Thank you again for coming this evening. I'm going to open the floor up to trustees. Trustee Liker.
Thank you so much. I love to see that you're taking advantage, or the students and families are taking advantage of the natural habitats that Bayside is surrounded by. And our liaison, I'm happy to hear that those positions are making a difference and helping with our families. And that's what we need to do, is have everybody feel welcome and want to be there. And that's where the learning begins. Thank you.
I think it's great to see all the great work that you are doing. I believe when we first met, you were still at Imperial Beach Charter, and it's really great to see you, building these connections with the team, and I'm looking forward to seeing the work continue at Bayside.
Well, I'm impressed with all the work that you presented tonight. So thank you so much to you and your team, and mostly to your students, because without them, we don't have a program. So I really like the idea about calendar days and the responsibility, even for a TKK, and doing calendar work. And so that's really important work. Thank you for doing that with our students there at Bayside. And can you tell me what Bayside did for the Eclipse Day? Walk me through that.
So for the Eclipse Day, we were very concerned about student safety, and so we followed the directives of the district. So we ensured that our students were inside, and we were on a rainy day schedule during the eclipse. We did not have any classes that participated in going outside because that required a permission slip. However, many of our classes took advantage of some online feeds that we found, where we were watching the eclipse live. And one in particular was hosted by the Exploratorium in San Francisco, and they had cameras in Mexico and in Texas, and I think they had one other location, if I remember correctly. And so we did a lot of different activities learning about the eclipse, what it was. It was great walking through the classrooms to see the students charting the eclipse throughout the period. There was a lot of fun activities, even though they weren't outside, because we were worried that our students might want to stare at the sun. So.
Well, it was pretty bright at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
But having that experience with our technology, I was waiting to hear that, because they have that technology. They can just turn it on. So I'm really pleased that you're reporting that they're using technology in a time where students needed to be safe. And so thank you to you and your team. And thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you, President Quinones.
Thank you. All right, we're moving right along to, we'll recognize Director Syverson, who's going to give us a presentation on the VIP Village Preschool Program. Welcome.
Wait, I don't, mic hot. Good evening, President Quinones, Superintendent Espinosa, and Board of Trustees. Thank you for the opportunity to highlight VIP Village Preschool. I am thrilled to share that this year it has been marked by collaboration and dedication from our team. Their insights and ideas and commitment have shaped our vision and mission statement for VIP Village. Our ILT team has successfully crafted our inclusion vision, which is located at the upper portion of the slide, reflecting our commitment to creating a workplace where everyone feels valued, respected, and included. This achievement highlights our collective efforts to promote diversity and foster a culture of inclusivity. I am immensely proud of our collaborative spirit and creativity displayed by each one of our members throughout this process. Their contributions are invaluable, and I am confident that we will fulfill our visions towards a future of success and growth where everyone thrives. We begin our, I'm going to give you a lot of acronyms, so I'm going to go through and share each one of them. So we begin our program school evaluation, also known as our PSE, process next week for the 24-25 school year. This evaluation covers 20 components of our early education program with analysis of our desired results developmental profile, also known as our DRDP, our environment rating scale, it's also known as our ECHRS, and the desired results parent survey. Our PSE evaluation is due June 1st of each year and is turned into the CDE explaining program areas that did not meet standards and a list of tasks to improve each of those areas in a timely and effective manner. We also include program areas that did meet standards and procedures for ongoing monitoring to ensure that those areas continue to meet standards. Our PSE last year had 3 areas of improvement. Goal 1 was our ECHRS, and the area that came out as the greatest need across the program was subscale 24 in the area of dramatic play. Results showed that the dramatic play was lacking during the outside play time. A goal that was written was to purchase and provide and rotate dramatic play equipment for our outside to include outdoor play cooking toys, large plastic animals and dinosaurs, plastic blocks, and dress-up items. The goal was completed in August of this year, and items are rotated quarterly. The goal that you see on the screen is a snapshot connected to goal number 2. And this is one element from our DRDP reflected in 22-23 school year. The data of fall of 23 is at the bottom, and you can see on the side that our spring assessment will lock on April 22nd. This tracks the growth of all students in 8 domains and 56 subdomains. Last year's analysis identified that we needed to improve our English language development, specifically in the area of comprehension of English and self-expression in English. Our goal was to improve all students' receptive and expressive language skills and reading and writing through personalized oral language learning, also known as POL. POL is a research-based strategy that's similar to what elementary schools are using, known as GLAD, Guided Language Acquisition. Our third goal is parent connectedness. I've implemented a weekly SMORE newsletter for our parents that goes out each Sunday. We have our PACBAC, which is our Parent Advisory Committee, and we have a core, solid core group of parents that show up to our PACBACs. We meet regularly and they provide me feedback, additional feedback for our coffee with the principal. We've hosted parental classes and we've increased our parent volunteers this year. So it has been super helpful to have additional help on campus. This here for the slide shows samples of what POL looks like in the classroom. It's very print rich and language rich. Again, personalized oral language learning is POL. It was originally developed by dual language learner experts, Dr. Linda Espinosa and Dr. Oliva Olsen and Elizabeth Magruder in 2010. It is a set of research-based concrete approaches that support language learning in all environments, particularly for dual language learners. All CSPP and Head Start staff, and I have close to 80 staff members, all of them attended the training for POL or English language supports. And this is done after hours. They do get a stipend for it, but it is a commitment to be able to implement this. There are 3 domains in POL. The first is family supports. It includes a language questionnaire for the families, parental engagement, and communication. The second is environmental supports, creating active learning experiences. And the third is instructional supports. And you'll see the instructional supports on the screen here. They have intentional messages. So you'll see today we will learn, and then it'll give a message. Anchor text, so it's literature that's tied to the intentional message. Vocabulary imprinting, so they see, hear, and use vocabulary repeatedly during the lessons for the entire week. Songs and chants, and then extended activities that go into their play centers. This page here is our CSPP inclusion program. It is made up of 4 classrooms with 1 teacher, 1 aide, and either an ed specialist or a SPED IA in each room. The VIP Morning Inclusion Program was created 14 years ago to better meet the needs of our diverse learners. Our inclusion classes are usually comprised of 14 general education students and 6 students on IEPs. The class is run as a general education class, but with more structure and extra support, both with additional adults and with unique strategies that staff have learned to help use with all students to be successful in school. The education specialist works on goals with students who have IEPs, but they are completely integrated within the classroom. Students who do not have IEPs have the wonderful opportunity to become leaders and role models in social, emotional, and language for other students. The program has been so successful that it has expanded to 4 classes this year. And I'm currently, if I can get this finished by tomorrow at midnight, putting in for a grant to expand our program for the entire CSPP. So fingers crossed I can get that done. VIP would not be VIP without all of our events. I'll highlight the images from left to right, top to bottom. The first images is our friendship feast. We hold that near Thanksgiving. The students get to join their friends. The entire cafeteria is decorated, tables are decorated, and they're served by the adults with a hot turkey meal from our child nutrition. The second is our Tricathon. That is our huge fundraiser that we have each year, and that ultimately pays for Snow Day, which you can see on the screen as well. Our families went above and beyond for the donations this year, and we have exceeded our goal in meeting payment for Snow Day for next year. Next is our Harvest Fest, our Read Across America. Do you have a turkey in your pocket? So at VIP, we like to have fun and the adults play games as well. The turkey in your pocket is, you had 4 turkeys that were passed out to the staff, and by the end of day Friday, so they had a week, whoever had the turkeys won a $5 gift card to Starbucks. We have Snow Day. We have our reading night, Pete the Cat visiting for reading night, Crazy Sock Day, Science Lab with Candace, which was Sink or Float, Winter Community Meals, Staff Surprise Coffee and Snack Day, Winter Celebration, and Employee of the Year. And we have a few more coming up. If you get a chance, we have on the 19th is Olympic Day for us. We could not do any of this without our parent liaison organizing our events, our parent volunteers, which grows monthly, our community partners with Head Start, San Diego QPI, Imperial Beach Optimists, who supported meals at Thanksgiving and Christmas, North Island Credit Union, who provided hams for families in December, our TVT Community School, who provided Thanksgiving meals for our entire district to pass out. We absolutely love their generosity across the board. And in closing, I'd like to share a few thank yous to departments in our MI site. A special thank you to our maintenance department for their efforts in installing our sheds, planning our shade structures for the playground, and maintaining our beautiful campus landscape. Our transportation department, you want me to wait? Our transportation department for your role in ensuring our students arrive safely to school each day. Our tech department ensuring devices are in the room for staff, and our fiscal department for your continued support as I learn the nuances of early ed. And I appreciate you so much, Jonathan, and your department. I thank the families for their commitment and support for letting us interact with their child each day. And finally, to my entire staff, thank you for a fabulous and fun year. Your dedication to providing engaging lessons and your commitment to our students' success is truly commendable. I am so grateful to each of you for your hard work, passion, and I look forward to many more years of growth, learning, and success together. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Trustee Liker?
Thank you so much. Excuse me. VIP is always so much fun. And I love to hear that the inclusion program is growing and hopefully continues to grow. Both of my daughters were part of that program. And I think it just benefits all the students. And I hope that that grant works out for you.
too. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think as a proud VIP alumni,
Yeah.
it's always great to see all the amazing work that you all do, and obviously with so many fun activities and events, that's like the best way for kids to learn. And like I know these events have such a lasting impact because to this day I always think of like the triathlon. So keep up the great work.
It's always so fun to have alumni on the board here. I just want to say thank you for all your work and good luck with is it a grant? Yeah, good luck. And you're going to submit tomorrow night. So and good luck to your team. I was wondering how you didn't list your enrollment this year.
And hopefully that doesn't get caught. Enrollment right now is at 366.
Okay.
So our enrollment varies. It starts off low because we have to wait till they turn a certain age. So as long as they turn 3 by December 1st, they can enroll for the school year. So you'll see like we'll start low in our numbers. We were about 157 at the beginning of the year, and then currently we're around 366.
And so the preschoolers will go back to their home site when they're kinder age.
For TK age, depending on who's providing it, and then kinder, they'll go to their home schools.
Oh, okay, great, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now we move on to report of action taken in closed session. Board clerk.
Thank you, President Quinones. Hmm. All right, so upon the motion of trustee Medina and seconded by trustee Liker and a vote of 4-0, the board took action in closed session to ratify a settlement agreement and to rescind a notice of non-reelection previously served upon a probationary certificated employee, employee ID 657664. The settlement memorializes the employee's resignation effective at the end of the current academic school year and continues the employee's regular compensation for the same duration. The superintendent or designee shall provide a copy of the ratified agreement to the employee.
Thank you. Moving on to item 5, changes in the agenda. At this time, the trustees or the executive team members may recommend changing the order of the agenda items and or request that an item from the consent calendar be placed within the discussion action section of the board meeting. The secretary will keep track of any recommendations. Please note, no new items may be added without advance public notice. Are there any changes to the agenda, trustees? No, hearing none. Superintendent? Nope, thank you so much. We'll move on to the approval of the meeting agenda. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Trustee, I always say your name wrong. Trustee Jose, motion. Do we have a second?
I second the
Okay, we have a second from Liker. Please call the vote.
Liker,
Yes.
Lopez Aguino,
Yes.
Quinones.
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0 with 2 absent.
All righty, we'll move on to number 7, communications to the Board of Trustees. There's a 5-minute limit per group. First up would be our South Bay PTA Council. They are not in the room this evening, but the board did receive an email this evening from the council president. So I just want to acknowledge that. The next up would be California School Employees Association, Chapter 59, CSEA. Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to Southwest Teachers Association, SWATA.
Good evening, trustees, executive team, colleagues, and community members. Last month, we met with Superintendent Espinoza to reiterate the association's desire to collaborate with the district around community schools. This week, I attended the South County Community Schools Collaborative, where our neighboring districts shared their successes, one being their partnership and collaboration with their labor partners. Chula Vista Elementary School District shared that their entire community school steering committee, including labor and management and community members, attended NEA training. Sweetwater Union High School District shared about the informational meetings that they have been hosting together collaboratively. We, however, have not had the opportunity to collaborate with South Bay. We look forward to hearing from Coordinator Maria Osborne to collaborate on the upcoming informational meetings. At our last meeting with Superintendent Espinoza, we also shared our concern with intercession. Although SWATA and SBUSD have an MOU in regards to intercession, which states intercession is the work of our members, the district has been outsourcing to vendors. Very expensive vendors, to say the least. As of today, 86 SWATA members have showed interest in working intercession for summer. Yet, the majority of them have been told that they will not be working. It's being outsourced to vendors again. That violates our MOU agreement. We look forward to hearing from Susie's department and how we're going to resolve this. Over the last several weeks, our leadership team, executive and bargaining team, have been engaging our members in the listening phase of the bargaining process. We have sent out surveys and hosted bargaining open hearings. We want to make sure that we understand what teaching and learning conditions our members would like to improve here in South Bay. SWATA looks forward to sunshining our proposed articles for negotiation at the May 2nd board meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. We're moving on to District Superintendent.
Thank you, President Quinones. Tonight, I just want to take just a couple of minutes to highlight some of the work that we're doing across our district. Our team has really started to focus around some of the work that has to be done. As the board knows, we're currently in the middle. We just had our first town hall meeting where we talked about the possibility of consolidating some schools. And I really, as I was talking to the attendees of the town hall meeting, I really tried to encourage them to not just think about, closing one school or other school, consolidating one way or another, even though those are very real possibilities. But instead, I really encourage the group to think about, when we're thinking about redefining our school system and what is success, really think about it in terms of if we had no schools were open, and we looked at the students and the community that we serve today, not in 2011, not in 2015, today, given our tremendous decline in students in our district, then what would a perfect district look like? I think when we do that and we can make that shift to really reimagining and redefining and then rebuilding a school district that's going to serve the needs of our students, I think that we can come up with a lot better options than when we look at it in terms of closing schools. When we stop at that idea, and yes, closing schools, closing any school is a very emotional, it's a very emotional event for our community and for the students that attend and for the staff that are there. But when we stop there, what ends up happening is we start to pit community against community. I'm afraid that, it's going to take some real work, from our district to be able to make that shift, to not pit community versus community. One of the things that I heard at the Mendoza town hall was that Nestor was trying to come over to Mendoza and take their school. When I hear language like that, that is very much community against community. What I'd rather hear is, we know we have this really big challenge of declining enrollment. We're going to decline about 50%. That is a lot of students. We know that as a district, we have that challenge. So how can we work together to overcome that challenge, to turn it into an opportunity to really rebuild our schools? Because if we're honest, if we're really honest with ourselves, we are not where we want to be. Our students are not performing where we would like them to be, not yet. But we can take this opportunity to work on that. So we have a lot of really hard work to do. I'm going to ask that staff and our community, our board, really focus their energy in a positive direction to really look at the possibilities versus really looking at the loss. Those are two different ways of doing this. We can do whatever we want. I don't have a particular plan that I want to follow. I want to make sure that we follow what our community needs, because we are here to serve the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent. Thank you for your report. We're moving on to public comments on non-agenda items. Public comments. The board will take no action or discussion on any item not appearing on the posted agenda, except as authorized by law. Individual speakers have 3 minutes to address the board on each non-agenda item. Speakers are not permitted to yield their time to another person. The board limits the total time for public input on each item to 20 minutes. Do we have any public speakers?
We have one.
Thank you, Ms. Cooper. Go ahead.
Kathy Parsons.
My name is Kathy Parsons. I am a community member of Imperial Beach, California. Just in case some of you don't know, I went to IB Elementary, Mar Vista Junior, and graduated from Mar Vista High in 1978. My sister graduated from Mar Vista High. We grew up in Imperial Beach. We went to all the South Bay Union schools that there were. I went to Harborview when it first opened. I was at Nestor when they had the kitchen and they did a whole week thing. So school is exciting. My mother worked for the school district for over 30 years. My sister was retiring in June after working that long. So South Bay Union School District has meant a lot to my family. They've raised us. They fed me food because my mom worked there. I mean, so 34 years ago, my mother was picked to reside at Westview Elementary School as a resident security. And again, as you all know, that program has been stopped. And so I'm making it my mission to come to every board meeting and see how much the community is not following you guys anymore. I mean, I remember the fight to stop unification. We had streets full. How many people here don't work for the school district? Yeah. So something needs to be done. I heard about the little doozy at Mendoza. That didn't go so well either. You need to do something to enhance the public to come to these meetings. This is their children. I also want you to know that my grandchild attends Emory Elementary right now. So you're going to lose some revenue then when I have to move. Another loss. But you guys really need to do something as a board to bring the community involved in South Bay Union School District, or you're going to lose it. You really are. Because they'll just be declining enrollment, because IB's moved up. We're no longer social economic. It's broken up by the schools of where it is. So you're going to have to do something to bring the yuppies who are too family, to board meeting, to interest them. And that starts at the school, I think. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Now we'll move on to item 9, discussion action items, general functions. A, governing board elections, tie vote procedures. I'd like to recognize our superintendent, Jose Espinoza, who will present the item.
Thank you, President Quinones. Ed Code specifies that prior to each election, the board shall determine whether a tie vote is to be resolved by a lot or by a runoff election. It is respectfully requested that the board make a selection regarding a tie vote for governing board membership on the November 2024 ballot.
Okay, so the question on the floor is, trustees, we need a motion either to, for a tie vote. So a tie vote, Superintendent, please share. If we have a tie on November 5th, if everything is equal, it's not certified yet, but it's November 5th. What happens?
So if everything is tied at that point, what the board is going to do right now is take action on how to resolve that tie. So, and there's really two different options. There's two options. One is a runoff election. So then our school district would pay for a runoff election, or two, it's a lot by lot or by a drawing lot, which simply could mean, that the board put both names in a hat, and you do it at an open meeting, and you draw a name, and that's how to resolve the tie. So at this point, we need a motion to decide which way to do it.
Do we have a motion?
I motion to decide by a lot so that our district doesn't have to pay for a special election.
Thank you. We have a second.
I don't think we can have them do a triathlon race at VIP Village, see who wins. We can't? No. Okay, then in that case, I will second the proposed motion.
Thank you. Superintendent, we're at discussion now. We have a motion and a second, but I have a question. The certification of the election is not until like 14 days after an election. So November 5th, the tally is not complete, it's not certified. So that's just an imaginary date, and we wait for certification from voter registration, right? Cool. Okay, let's go. Let's go for the vote.
Liker,
Yes.
Lopez Aguino,
Yes.
Quinones.
Yes,
Motion passes 3-0 with 2 absent.
thank you. For the fun time of our evening this evening, we're going to be going into educational leadership. B 2021-2024 LCAP update. We'd like to recognize and welcome Assistant Superintendent Pamela Riker Montiel, who will give us an update on the following. Go.
Good evening, President Quinones, Superintendent Espinosa, Board of Trustees, and our community. I'm here to give you an update on the LCAP and particularly the planning around the new LCAP template. So tonight's update will include some of the LCAP educational partner input, the in-person protocol that we use that I shared last month, district-wide survey, both staff and parents, and the California Healthy Kids Survey results, staff, parents, and students. I will also share a couple of draft goals and not specific actions, but categories of actions, and ask for your continued input. this is just a summary of the educational partners input that we have received thus far. It's the same slide as last time, including the dates. Last time I shared with you that the input process was to engage our educational partners in providing us with feedback or input on 3 particular questions around goals 1, 2, and 3, which you probably have memorized by now, right? With the presentations. As well as some feedback on our district mission, vision, and values, and whether or not our goals included all of the elements of those 3. Our questions were around the mission, vision, and values, whether or not our goals and actions reflected our hopes for all educational partners, also goals that they would recommend be added, deleted, or changed, and action steps added, deleted, or changed, along with primary focus for the 24-25 school year input. What I'm sharing with you tonight is raw data. I just want to show you and give you a feel for the amount of data that we received and how we're putting it all together. And I know this is not easy to see. This is the whiteboard in my office, and this is simply tally marks. There is a key, and that was for me to keep track of school input along with school site council input, ELAC, DLAC, and other departments and different committees. So what I was just looking at this for is that visual to see where there was the most energy around the different responses or the input that we received. So when I looked at that whiteboard and looked at where the majority of the not you, not me, it's not me. The majority of our educational partners were giving input. I put them into various slides. So these are the top priorities from the input process for all of the groups. So there's a lot of energy around new curriculum or additional curriculum, particularly around ELA, ELD, and math. A lot of energy around interventions, the SST process, MTSS, newcomer programs. And when you look at that's both or all different educational partners, parents alike, indicating a need for newcomer support. Support for counselors. If you look at the whiteboard picture, there is some language that it might say additional, it might say reduce. And so in this case, it was just support for counselors, obviously more counselors if we can do so. There was also reducing class size as a common theme, community partnerships, family engagement, school safety, parent education, along with professional development. So it was professional development for all staff, classified and certificated, as well as the parent education piece. There was strong support for the learning acceleration tutors, the behavior intervention assistants, and academic tutoring. I then broke it down by groups. So when we look at our EL parent committees, the ELAC and DLAC, again, that's where you see the newcomer programs, MTSS, SST intervention, parent education, professional development, class size, academic tutoring, community partnerships, and then they did indicate a need to strengthen parent and teacher communication. And then they identified music and other specialty programs as something they would like to see. When we looked at our school site council coffee with the principal and PTA, it was new curriculum, learning acceleration tutors, counselors, school safety, and community partnerships. And then when we looked at the departments, it was new curriculum, newcomer programs, parent education, professional development for all staff, community partnerships, and school safety. Again, these were the items that had the most feedback on them. It doesn't mean there weren't others. So when you look at the whiteboard, all of the feedback is on that whiteboard, but these are the ones that surfaced that had the most energy around them. And then staff, new curriculum, the MTSS, SST intervention, newcomer, additional counselors, reducing class size, community partnerships, family engagement, school safety, parent education, the professional development for all staff, learning acceleration tutors, behavior intervention assistants, and a lot of energy around eliminating combination classrooms. Now, then when we did our district-wide surveys, they went to staff and parents. And I did that twice, but it's really, we asked them basically the same types of questions around our current goals, our current action steps, some around the mission, vision, and values. And then we asked that additional question about how do we support our multilingual learners? And that's a requirement of the LCAP to do so. We also asked about increasing parent engagement, improving student attendance. So you can see that there's more on this survey than the in-person feedback around the LCAP itself. And then interest in specialty programs, since we saw that pop up in the in-person input, we wanted to make sure that we kept that, and then general feedback. Nick? Thank you. When I was unpacking the survey responses, again, what I did was on the posters hanging in my office, and you're welcome to come by and see those at any time, but really breaking it out into those 4 questions around the multilingual learners, the parent engagement, attendance, and specialty programs for the purpose of the LCAP. And then I had a separate poster where I was keeping track of the focus and then input into the goals or changing the goals. There's 2 check marks only, or 2 colors. It's parents and staff. So blue are parents and red are staff. So the staff input around supporting multilingual learners. And again, you'll see some common themes: newcomer programs, strengthening DLI, practice, that students need practice with English models. We need resources in English and Spanish, family engagement, ELD resources, high expectations, and support. These are open-ended questions, so they were not multiple choice. They got to respond however they wanted in the open-ended in both English and Spanish. Suggestions for increasing parent engagement, communication, parent education, volunteer opportunities, fun family events. That was frequent, is fun family events, evening events, and just things that'll draw the family in, and then incentives and prizes to draw families in as well. As far as improving student attendance, incentives, recognition, family outreach, engaging lessons, events, assemblies, activities, so making school fun, parent accountability, and then welcoming environment. And as far as specialty programs, really it was VPA, music, and STEM. We separated out the VPA and music because there's quite a bit of music. So you'll see on the slide I think I put a little like M on top of it if it's music. And that was just so I could get a feel for, is it all visual performing arts or was it specifically a music program? And then parent input on the same 4 areas. And they, and again, these are the ones that surfaced with the highest amount of energy, not an exhaustive list. You see the list on the posters. Resources in English and Spanish, practice and support. And then as far as suggestions for parent engagement, communication, volunteer opportunities, and again, that fun family events. For improving student attendance, incentives, and engaging activities. And then lo and behold, specialty programs were the VPA, music, and STEM. So again, we had other suggestions like maybe robotics or coding, but it might have only had 1 person or 2 people suggesting that. These were the ones that received the most number of comments. So as far as the primary focus for next year, academic achievement, inclusive environments, safe and welcoming environments, reading, writing, and math, integrating equity and biliteracy. And those should sound semi-familiar to last month when I presented some of those sample goals and ideas that had come forward then. So next is the California Healthy Kids Surveys, and we did students, staff, and parents. So what we have here are 3 years worth of data so we can see what changes. We also have the number of respondents. So this is the student surveys for 3rd through 6th grade. And you can see from 21-22 school year, which is that first column, to the current, which is 22 or 23, 24. My apologies. So you can look down and see school connectedness, academic motivation, school boredom, caring adults in school, high expectations, meaningful participation, facilities uncapped, parent involvement in schooling, social and emotional learning supports, and anti-bullying climate. And the answers were most of the time or all of the time. So those were the two that we put together. We're comparing the same data that we have in the LCAP that we've been comparing every year. So there are different, all of these questions are on the survey, but when we actually put it into the LCAP, we'll use the topics that we've been using as from the inception, which was the benchmark. These are our 7th and 8th graders. So again, much of the same school connectedness. We do see the monthly attend or absences as an additional question that's asked in there. In middle school, they ask it, the questions a little differently. So school is worthless and a waste of time is the way, the way that it's not phrased specifically, but that's what's coming across. Maintaining a focus on schoolwork, relationships with caring adults, high expectations, and meaningful participation. These continue with our middle schoolers, the facilities upkeep, promotion of parental involvement in school, school perceived as very safe or safe, and experienced any harassment or bullying. So you can see many of the items are sort of a flat line, not much growth, and you can see others have dropped. So definitely something for us to dig deeper into. And this is raw data, so we'll talk a little bit about analyzing the data in a later slide. These are our staff surveys. So staff surveys asking about whether they agree or strongly agree, caring adult relationships at school, high expectations, adults in school, student meaningful participation, promotion of parental involvement, all the way through facility support for social emotional learning, provides adequate counseling and support services, and anti-bullying climate. Again, we see some that have dipped and some that have stayed pretty flat. Our parent surveys are strongly agree. You can see or agree in the parentheses. That's what's next to the question. So the student learning environment, whether school feels like a safe place, does school motivate students to learn? Do they have adults who really care about them and those opportunities for meaningful student participation, including as well communication with parents and students or about school, communication with parents about school. Teachers being responsive to child's social and emotional needs. School provides parents with advice and resources to support the social and emotional needs, and then harassment or bullying of students being a large problem. So again, looking at those parentheses, so that number is, again, it's pretty flat, but it hasn't gone up. So the reason I put this slide in here is just to remind us that this is raw data. So whenever we're looking at data and looking, even if you think about the LCAP input session and then the LCAP survey, what's really important is for us to look at what are those trends and the things that are in common. It's also important to look at the way a question is asked. Is it just overall feedback or input, or is it specific to a particular action step in the LCAP or in general? So for example, with some of the responses that we've received about social emotional learning, we know that we've put counselors in place. We know that we have social workers. We know that that's an area of huge importance to us as a system, and that we made some of those changes in our current LCAP to reflect that. So then we have to really dig in and wonder why it is that we might get responses to questions that feel like, okay, is this, if it's going down, but we've increased counselors, or we've put counselors in place, or we've put social workers in place, why would the data be going down? And so we do have to sit and interpret the data as well. So that's just an important part of the process. Okay, so I'm going to take a breath. Actually, I'm going to step back and take a breath, because next what you're going to see is, based on all of the input that we received, is 2 potential draft goals. They're not set in stone. They're not finalized. So it's 2 goals that we've tried to write to reflect the data and also the requirements of the new LCAP and the way that the new LCAP has to be written. So I'll talk a little bit about that and the structure. So here's our first draft goal, and it is district and school climate, culture, and connectedness. And what this goal states is that we will engage in continuous improvement cycles in which we as a collective system reflect, redefine, and rebuild our programs and services to meet the needs of the educational partners we serve. Throughout these processes, we will create and maintain equitable, welcoming, and safe learning environments that value diversity. And no, I don't have it memorized. So value diversity, language, individual culture, identity, and the contributions of all educational partners that build the capacity. And that's where that, so it's the environment that builds the capacity and efficacy of all professional, or through professional development, differentiated support, and leadership opportunities. So I'm just going to give you 30 seconds to take that in. So it's the continuous improvement cycles we collectively will work on. Through these processes, we'll create and maintain the environment that we desire, and we will also build the capacity and the efficacy of all through professional development, differentiated support, and leadership opportunities. So this includes all educational partners, staff, students, and parents. Sample action categories that would fit under this goal would be our professional development for all educational partners. This is not an exhaustive list. I just thought, okay, so what would action steps look like? What would be under this goal? Anything related to professional development for all educational partners, anything related to developing the whole child, the social emotional development and support of our students, so our counselors, social workers, basic services related to transportation, child nutrition, and facilities, again, considering safety and meeting all needs, community partnerships, and special programs. The draft goal number 2 is academic excellence for all students. This is that all students will demonstrate growth towards meeting or exceeding standards in ELA and math, and multilingual learners will demonstrate progress in developing English language proficiency. So this is a very specific academic goal around math and ELA, which is what our feedback led us to, along with progress for our students developing English language proficiency. Sample action categories would be our core instructional resources, any supplemental instructional resources, intervention, our academic interventions, support staff that provide those academic interventions, MTSS related to academics, assessments, and any content-specific professional development. These are the draft 2 goals. Under each goal in the new LCAP, we need to provide the goal description, the why statement, and a why statement can be multiple paragraphs as to why this is the goal that we landed on. And a lot of the why is around the educational partner input as well as our data. Okay, so taking goal number 2, for example, indicating in the why how our students are performing. The additional why would be not only the CAS data in math and language arts, but how are our English learners doing? And because that is also a measurement on the dashboard. And approximately 50% of our students are multilingual learners or English learners. And we do use that term interchangeably. I'll have to figure out what the CDE requires because we want to use the term multilingual learners, but English learners is still the technical term under Title III. So the why statement, we also then have to indicate the metrics, how we are going to measure that goal. And then the actions below each goal, the actions link back up to the goal and in the actions. So if I go back and I look at some of these sample actions. So if we were to say intervention or support staff, so we have our support staff that are providing intervention, and we write in there that the reason that we are putting as an action step and an expenditure is specific staff will provide intervention to students in ELA or math in order to increase their opportunities and their chance at meeting grade level standards, then we will also tie that to metrics. So within the action, we will write that that is linked to the metric above. And the metrics will be numbered, as are the actions, so that we specifically refer to metric 1.1, metric 1.2, metric 1.3, and so forth. So it is a much more complex process than in the past LCAP. So now is the opportunity for you to ask me any questions or any comments or input into this process.
Thank you so much. This is a lot of work. Thank you so much to you and your team. Go ahead and open up to Trustee Liker.
Thank you so much for all of this. I like that there's just 2 goals. I like that it feels really streamlined and focused, but still very robust and lots of work to do. So thank you.
And please know that we had a lot of conversation in the development of the goals around this idea of what comes first. So when we think in terms of creating a climate and connectedness for our students and for our staff, and making sure that we are equipped to do the work, then the work that we're going to do, yes, that includes the social emotional learning and developing the whole child. And then that second goal really being about the academics. So the first goal really encompasses a lot in order for us to get to that second goal of the academic achievement.
Okay. I'm just looking at my notes here. I'm really pleased at hearing all about the professional development for all and the parents as well, because the community are talking about the healthy
Kids survey.
Yes. And how that was rolled out this year. Some parents don't have internet, they don't have the phone. I don't know. They're not getting the survey online. So I just wanted to share that with you. I'm really pleased to see a page here for our ELAC and our DLAC committees and the newcomers support there, and wonder how that would be tracked. You don't have to tell me now. Okay. So how are things are going to be monitored? Is it going to be trimester, a report to the board, or, in a semester? I'm just throwing these out. Okay. Again, professional development. Are we going to track staff that participate in the staff development? And then note that on our accomplishment, on our LCAP, we have 300 teachers and 250 took this.
Yes.
So it's in there.
So we will be looking to measure everything we can measure. When you mentioned the newcomer program, I want to be clear that as we write this LCAP, since it is a 3-year LCAP, there might be some planning. Well, there will be some, if it's a new type of concept or program or service that we provide or support, there may be a planning period within the LCAP where something takes fruition in year 2. So then you're monitoring that planning period. It may be half a year, it just depends. So that would be written into the LCAP. But when it comes to the metrics of if we are saying that professional development is what's going to make a difference in the academic achievement in, say, ELA or math or English language development, then yes, we'll be writing that in there as a metric of attending, participating in professional development. So yes, attendance would be one of the measurements that would be included in there, along with the student academic achievement, right? Because the big goal is student academic achievement in goal 2, but the professional development and the different things. So if we were to, just like any adoption, let's say an adoption, we know that the curriculum goes with that, but we have to make sure that teachers teachers and other staff, all staff are adequately trained in how to use the materials. So that would all be, anything that we write in there would have some sort of metric link.
So
to it.
will there be, you don't have to answer me, I'm just throwing it out. Will there be tracking in a system like the system, I just had it in my brain here, that teachers and or classified have taken a
Well, we keep track of that now, attendance. We
Yeah.
do keep track of all attendance sheets, sign-in sheets. Yes.
Okay, so
Mhm.
that's on their,
We have that internally. That's
Yeah.
not, I think you're trying to say maybe PeopleSoft
Yeah.
or one of those that I can't speak to, but we do already keep track. And we have
Good.
to do that for all of our FPM and federal monitoring of our Title I that we use for professional development.
yeah,
Mhm.
right.
Yes.
Two last things, if I may. All children will read by 3rd grade. Why can't we put that in there? And why can't we say all 5th graders will be at level 5 at 5th grade?
I don't know that I have an answer for you.
Just
That's
think of-
not,
just think-
what
Yeah.
I can tell you is that in all of the workshops that I've been to
Uh-huh.
provided by the county, with the direction from the CDE, there isn't a right or wrong answer for a goal. But what they do indicate is that it should be reasonable, and we start with our baseline. So what we're starting with in there is you'll see that same column that we have now with our baseline and what is our year 1 goal? What is our year 2 goal? So I definitely think that that as we put these systems in place and start to see growth in our students, that very well could be a possibility, but that's typically we start with the baseline and then we look at the growth model. Mhm.
So we can celebrate in year 3 because all 3rd graders will be reading at grade level.
Well, I certainly would like to stand up here before you. No, I will not be standing up here in 3 years. So, but back to also your question, because I missed answering it before, was the check-ins. So there will be a mid-year report. That does not mean that we won't be before you presenting data on all other aspects of the LCAP, which we have done throughout the year. But the actual check-in on how we're doing on every metric will be the mid-year report.
The software I was thinking about was position control.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and so you don't do anything about that.
I do not.
Okay. So, okay, well, I look forward to our study session and we'll get more information. We have homework here and we thank you for your time and presentation. Anything else, trustees? No? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. I'm going to stay here.
All right. Right, we're moving on to item C, closure of Virtual Academy. Again, recognize Assistant Superintendent Pamela Recker Montel, and we'll conduct a hearing, public hearing
All right, so I'll just go right into this one. I'm before you to speak to you about the official closure of Virtual Academy. So it's just a little background. The Virtual Academy was created for the 21-22 school year in response to parent requests for continued virtual learning versus in-person when we were returning from the pandemic. The enrollment, going back to then, we do not have a projected because of course that was unknown, but we enrolled 164 students that first year. We projected 259 the following year and 115 enrolled. Then we projected 89, and this year we have 56 students. The projection for next year would be 35. Just a little background as well, that the Virtual Academy was housed at the Westview campus, and then we did move Virtual Academy physically to the Bayside campus this school year. In spring of 2023, when we saw our numbers start to dwindle, we did a parent survey and we shared our concerns about the projected enrollment and the possibility of discontinuing the program. And based on our parent input, we decided to offer Virtual Academy as an option for another year, but we did make it quite clear that it wasn't likely that we would be able to continue. So for right now, there are currently 56 students enrolled in the Virtual Academy. The Virtual Academy's projection of 35 gives us the configurations of a 2-3 combo with 10 students, a 4-5 combo with 13 students, or a sixth grade class and a sixth grade classroom with 12 students. And as you can see, that is the challenge. You would really barely have enough students for a 2 through 6th grade combo, which we would not do. So that is why it's challenging. In addition, Virtual Academy has been identified as a comprehensive school improvement school based on the 2023 California dashboard. So that is what Mendoza just exited with CSI, and we have had schools in ATSI and they have exited, but Virtual Academy was identified for comprehensive school improvement based on academic achievement. Specifically, they scored red on the dashboard in ELA, math, and English learner progress indicator. We, as far as our communication, we consulted with our labor partners. We met with the Virtual Academy teachers. We did send a parent letter, and we have been in consultation with the San Diego County Office of Education because of the fact that there are a lot of different steps you have to go through to close the school, as well as the CSI portion, because without closing Virtual Academy, a section of the LCAP would be dedicated to CSI like it was for Mendoza. So it really changes their school plan and it changes the LCAP. So we have notified them of our intentions since we are not filling out those sections at this point in time. So it is recommended that due to low enrollment and declining interest that we no longer offer Virtual Academy as an option for the 2024-25 school year. At this point,
Thank you. At this time, I will open up the public hearing. The time is 7:23. The public hearing is now open. Is there any public comment?
There are no public comments.
Thank you. The time is 7:24. Close the public comment. Thank you. May I have a motion to approve the closure of the Virtual Academy?
So moved.
Thank you.
A second.
Okay, so we have a first and a second. Let's call for the vote.
Liker,
Yes.
Lopez Aguino,
Yes.
Quinones.
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0 with 2 absent.
Thank you. Thank you. Human Resources Declaration of Need, recognizing Executive Director Melissa Griffin. And our duty tonight would be to approve a declaration of need for fully qualified educators for the 24-25 school year. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Good evening, President Quinones, Board of Trustees, and Superintendent Espinosa. Tonight, I am here to request your approval of the declaration of need for fully qualified educators for the 24-25 school year. we utilize this as an opportunity to engage with folks if and when we need candidates for positions that are hard to fill. An example of that would be special education classrooms, moderate, severe, those types of classrooms. So I'm asking for your approval for the declaration of need.
May I have a motion?
I move to approve.
Second.
There's a motion to approve the declaration of need for fully qualified educators for the 24-25 school year by trustee Liker, second by trustee Jose. We call for the vote.
Liker,
Yes.
Lopez Aguino,
Yes.
Quinones.
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0 with 2 absent.
Thank you. Moving on to consent calendar. All matters listed in the consent calendar will be enacted in one motion in the form listed below. Prior to the approval of the meeting agenda, there was an opportunity to request placing consent calendar items in the discussion action section of the board meeting. There will be no discussion on these items prior to the board vote. The superintendent and staff recommend the approval, adoption, ratification, acceptance of all consent calendar items, unless otherwise noted. May I have a motion?
I move to approve all items on the consent calendar as listed, included in the superintendent's recommendations for denial or approval of leaves of absence.
Perfect. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. We'll call for the vote.
Liker,
Yes.
Lopez Aguino,
Yes.
Quinones.
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0 with 2 absent.
At this time, item 10, future agenda items. Trustees, this is the time that you may request a topic for a future board meeting. Is there any request at this time? No? Hearing none.
No.
Moving on to, wait a minute, something's missing. We don't have any, okay, that's why it's missing. Thank you. Number 11, communication from the Board of Trustees. We have 3 minutes per limit per trustee. We'll go ahead and start with trustee. I'm going to try it. Equino.
I just wanted to share that last month I had an opportunity to visit Howard Pence Elementary School with Superintendent Espinosa, and I wanted to thank Principal Preciado for hosting us. It was a really great experience to be on the campus, and it's awesome to walk around the halls and see all the beautiful murals. I know it's very inspirational. I shared with Principal Preciado that when I was in high school, I had never heard of Berkeley until like 11th grade. And then I looked into it and I was really excited. It seemed like something that I might want, a place where I might want to go to study. But by then it was a little bit too late for me. I ended up going somewhere else. But I just thought, man, if I knew about all these different schools growing up, I would have probably, found a different path. So I think it's really great that, there's the No Excuses University, and it was really interesting walking into all the different classrooms and seeing how each classroom had like a specific focus. So it's a really cool experience. So thank you again.
Thank you. I have RSVP'd for the next town hall, so I was not at the first town hall that we had. But I wanted everyone to know that I got a copy of everybody's comments and thoughts and ideas and concerns, and I really like how this was arranged because I had the time to stop and read and look at it and think about it and reflect instead of having person after person sharing ideas quickly with so much emotion between everybody. So this was helpful to me, and I hope that it is shared. It's shared online for other people to look at it. A continuing theme that I've seen with different conferences and training sessions that I've been to is consolidation of schools, declining enrollment throughout California. It's not unique to our school district, and there are a lot of difficult situations or choices that will have to be made, but like superintendent said, it's also an opportunity to look at how to change things. Like if we think about our, some different concerns like combo classes or lack of a music program or activities for families. This is the opportunity to have more robust events and programs in schools, even though it is a challenging situation. I hope that everyone will come with their ideas because our community does have some great ideas and we're looking and we're listening and there's lots of effort being put into hearing everybody. So, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so
President
much.
Quinones, can I just add something to that? Thank you, Trustee Liker. I did want to just clarify that the community does have an opportunity to make public comments or say it to the board when they're all sitting together. At each town hall meeting, only 2 board members are at each town hall meeting due to the Brown Act. So on May 20th, when we have the study session and the board will be presented with all this information, the community, I do want to invite the community to come and make comments at that time where the board will be able to listen to all their comments, in addition to the information that the board is going to receive from the town hall meetings. So I just wanted to make sure that the community knows that they can come and make their public comments on May 20th. And then probably either the June meeting, we have 2 meetings in June, but we will keep the community informed. That's right now, we think the board may be ready to make a choice on the options by June, but you know, we're not sure yet. It just depends on how things progress.
Thank you, Superintendent. This past month, I attended Ledge Week with California School Boards Association. We met with Assemblyman Ward and I just forgot his name. Well, 2 assembly people and 2 senators. And so in that talk was about Prop 98 and the assurance of those funds, and it's problematic. My part in this was SB 1341, and SB 1341 is a win-win situation. And when I said that to the senators and the assembly people, they stood up in the Zoom meeting because it's a win-win for the state and a win-win for districts. When I told them how many reports that are required every year that staff has to spend time and dollars, district dollars that otherwise could go and be spent on students, they took notice of that. So I advocated for that, and we'll see what transpires. I asked them to go back to the committee to identify what reports are redundant, what reports are that can be combined, and reduce those to a manageable number. So I hope that happens. School community meetings, we're going to have 3 coming up. And so check your emails, parent notices, flyers. It's really vital that our community comes in this sense. I want to applaud the intercession events. I saw them online. I hear them at my back door at Barry and singing and dancing. And so thank you so much for providing an opportunity for our children to flourish and enjoy school in their off time. Again, the town hall meetings are very important, and I look forward to my turn going to Central. And that's my report this evening. Thank you so much. And on that, I'll call this meeting, adjourn this meeting if there is no further. Nope, the meeting is adjourned. Oops, 7:33.